This is gonna be a crazy video. So as you can tell by the title, I am going to be running the New York City Marathon. But before we get into all of those details and the marathon and all of that, I have two very massive important announcements. First off, a lot of you guys probably know that I just wrapped up my final season of cross country. I had a fantastic time running this season. It was so much fun and I ended up running decently well. Well, as it turns out, this season of cross country was actually the last season of college running ever. And that is because I am officially dropping out. No, I'm just joking, guys. I am kidding. I'm actually going to be graduating college in 2 weeks, which obviously means that I'm just not going to be able to run track here in the spring because I won't be here. But then this obviously leads to the question, what is next? What is the future of my running career now? And before you guys get nervous, I'm not quitting running. This sport means way too much to me and I honestly love making these running videos for you guys way too much. So there's gonna be no pulling a tray hand here on this channel. But since cross country ended, I've been thinking a lot about my future as a runner. Throughout my life, it's been a very clear linear progression. So I clearly ran in high school, and in the fall in cross country we ran 5Ks, and then in the spring it would transition to miles and 8s for track. And then the next step up, I ran in college, which I'd do 8Ks in the fall for cross country, and then track would come around and I'd run 5Ks on the track. But my point here is that it was always very clear cut what I was training for and also who I was training with, which leads us to now. I have no clear-cut path or training for what I'm going to do next. The dates of the races and these distances of the races and how many races I do, it's completely up to me. And the most disappointing thing about graduating is that I'm no longer gonna have this team to push me and a team to train with. It's such a weird feeling knowing that there's just not gonna be any more workouts with my friends, my teammates, and my competitors. Honestly, looking back, what I really love about this sport is the people I have met and the camaraderie of running with a team. So I began thinking, how could I join a new team after I'm past high school and past college? But then I decided, why not make my own? With the values that I want out of a running club. And so, drumroll please, I am proud to introduce the future of track clubs, Coastline. I came up with the name Coastline to represent how this team would be coast to coast across the entire country and honestly across the entire world too. Coastline is the new wave of track and field, a team without a physical location. So based off that, you're probably like, Tyler, what the heck? How are we gonna meet each other? How are we gonna know each other and be part of this team if there's not a physical location? Well, first off, I created a Coastline Track Club Discord. Anyone can join, and in the chat we talk about training, we talk about races, we talk about literally anything that you really want to talk about. And as well as Discord, we also have a Team Strava where you can see the training of all the other members and try to connect with other people in Coastline. And if you want to join either of those, which I highly recommend, I've linked them both in the description below. So as well as Discord and Strava, we're also going to be coming out with loads of merch that you can rep literally anywhere. I want to see Coastline gear up and down the country, west to east, north to south, everywhere. We just released the first drop, which I've been working on super hard behind the scenes, and you can check that out by clicking the first link in the description. And guys, this drop is super limited just because it's the first drop ever. Do not worry, I want to create the best and most unique designs for this club, so we're gonna be doing tons of new and unique drops every so often. And now that we know who I'm gonna be running with, let's talk about the title of the video. I'm running the New York City Marathon. Personally, I knew I was always gonna run a marathon. It's kind of like the runner's end all to be all. I also knew that after college, I needed some sort of race to train for, or else I was gonna be severely unmotivated. So I started researching some marathons I could run after college, and some were super cool. Honolulu, amazing. Athens, amazing. London, amazing. But my mind always came back to New York City. A marathon run in one of the most vibrant and exhilarating cities on earth, combined with the fact that it is quite literally the largest marathon on the planet. So I looked into New York City and what it would take to run it, and I came away with two pretty startling facts. First off, it was nearly impossible to just run it. Most people had to enter a lottery in order to race, and it's nearly impossible to win. Since so many people want to run New York, only about 12% of the lottery participants make it every year, and that's unacceptable. I want to take my fate into my own hands. Which leads us to point number 2. I was gonna have to qualify by time. So if you want to qualify by time, there's two different options to do it. You can either do it through running a half marathon time or a marathon time. For New York City in my age range, the times to qualify are 81 minutes for the half marathon and a 2:53 marathon for the marathon. And since I knew that I wanted New York City to be my first ever marathon, that left one option for qualifying: running a sub 81 half marathon. For some of the old time viewers of the channel, back in February 2020, I ran my first ever marathon in Barcelona. Despite being sick for literally 2 weeks before, I ended up running 81:44, which I was stoked about. So this all means that I need to cut 45 seconds off my current half marathon PR in order to qualify for New York City. And for those of you curious about how fast that is, it's about 6:11 per mile for 13.1 miles. So let's go back to the whole broad timeline for this. The New York City Marathon is run in November 2022. That means I'm gonna have a full year of training and fire videos to prepare for it. But before I get there, I have to run the qualifying half, which I'm probably gonna try to do in either May or June. So now we have the clear steps: run the 81 half in May or June, and then run New York City in November. Of course, this is definitely gonna be one of the most challenging feats of my life. For those of you who don't know, I do have type 1 diabetes, which adds a massive complication on top of an already extremely challenging race. See, with diabetes, it becomes very difficult to fuel properly during the race. I can't just take in whatever gels and whatever energy that I want. But over the next year, I'm fully prepared to completely figure out what I need to do to make this work. And now, of course, you guys are probably wondering what my goals are for the actual marathon. Of course, with everyone's first marathon, my underlying goal is just to finish. If I finish, I finish, but I do need a time goal, something to really shoot for. Based on my current fitness and with a year of training on top, I feel very confident that I should be able to break 3 hours in the marathon, granted if everything goes right. Pace-wise, that's 6:51 per mile. And I am gonna be training hard to break 3 hours. My plan is 80-mile weeks and some absolutely savage workouts. And so that is what the next year of my life is gonna look like. I'm so excited for the future, both for Coastline and for the marathon. Make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of the marathon videos coming soon, and I will see you guys next Wednesday.